Hello, fellow rock stars. In case you haven't guessed it, this week's theme is rock and roll. So get your air guitars ready and buckle up because we're in for a wild ride.
All right, rock stars, here is the story of rock. There's an old song that says, blues music has a soul. Then the blues had a baby, and they named it rock and roll. Chuck Berry came along with a guitar and made it sing. Then Elvis Presley shook things up, and the people crowned him king. Bob Dylan gave us poetry. The Rolling Stones brought style. And then with Beatlemania, rock made the world go wild. In the long summer of love, Janis Joplin's voice rang loud. The Who smashed their instruments. Ugh. The Dead jammed for the crowd. In '69 at Woodstock, hippies gathered all around. Hendrix wailed on his guitar. It was such an awesome sound. Aerosmith dreamed on, while Zeppelin played full blast. The Ramones played punk rock really, really fast. AC/DC wore school uniforms while playing Back in Black. Scaramouche sang Queen as they brought opera back. David Bowie sang Let's Dance. Oh, the man knew how to dress. Tina Turner ruled the 80s. Her voice was simply the best. 80s rock had big screams and even bigger hair. Slash couldn't see his guitar. Bon Jovi was living on a prayer. Pearl Jam and Nirvana rocked with the lights out. In Seattle, grunge was born. Then ska fused with rock, no doubt. Weezer dressed like Buddy Holly, and their cruises were a ball. And who knew the White Stripes weren't brother and sister after all? Now, some people say that rock is dead. Most greats are in the sky. But the real truth is that rock and roll will never, ever die.
What's up, my rock stars? I hope you're rocking hard. We just learned about a little bit of the history of rock and roll music, okay? As we learned, rock music kind of grew out of the genre of blues music. Blues music was really, really popular in the early 1900s, and rock kind of set its roots in blues music and then grew into its own genre from there. So you might be wondering, okay, so I know a little bit about the history, but how can I actually tell the difference between a rock song and a pop song or a country song? Great question if you're asking that question. And here's the answer. There are a few key elements to all rock songs, okay? Well, there's always a few exceptions, but for most rock songs, okay? First of all, rock music is not just a type of music, it's an attitude, it's a lifestyle, okay? So it's all about the attitude. Second of all, there are typically certain instruments that are used in all rock songs. There's typically 4. So there's typically a singer, a drummer, a bass player, and a guitar player, okay? And in rock music, a lot of the times that's an electric guitar, not just a regular acoustic guitar. Sometimes a piano is added. So for example, if you look at the Beatles, if you know the Beatles, they were a really, really famous British group in the 1960s is when they became really, really, really popular. I mean, they had thousands and thousands of fans, okay? So they had all 4 of those instruments present in most of their songs, okay? And that's kind of what defines a rock song as well, are the certain instruments that are used. Also, rock music is typically loud. All right, there are a lot of slow rock songs, but even the slow ones can be kind of loud. It's kind of it's a certain sound, right? And last but not least, rock songs, a lot of them are what we call a 4/4 time signature. So you might be thinking, what the heck is she talking about? What's a time signature? I'm not going to have you worry about that just yet. We are going to practice it in just a second. So all I want you to worry about is that there's 4 beats. There's groups of 4 beats that go throughout the song. So if I were listening to a rock song and I was clapping, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's just natural groups of 4. And you can kind of feel it. If you've practiced steady beat in your regular music classrooms, you can kind of feel, and we're actually going to be practicing that, which leads me to my next activity. I would like you to take a moment, pause the video if you need to, and go around your house and find something that might work as rhythm sticks. Most of you have probably used rhythm sticks in your classroom. They're just those long wooden dowels, little sticks that you clang together, kind of like drumsticks, right? And since we're doing rock, we're going to pretend they're drumsticks. All right, so I was able to find 2 wooden spatulas here, and I'm going to be using them as rhythm sticks. I would like you to go and find your rhythm sticks and then come back, meet me here, and get ready for our next rockin' activity. Hello again, fellow rock stars. Just a moment ago, we were talking about the elements of rock music. Hopefully you're back with your makeshift rhythm sticks. All right, we're going to be using those. And we're just going to do a quick little exercise to practice really starting to hear those groups of 4. Because remember I said rock music is typically in 4/4 time. Which means that you can hear groups of 4. And I'm going to try to demonstrate during this exercise why, if we did like 5 or 6 beats, why that wouldn't work, okay? And hopefully you'll be able to hear the difference. So here we go. We're going to listen to just the beginning of a little song called 7 Nation Army by the rock duo The White Stripes, okay? So this is the one we're going to be using to tap the steady beat to. Two, 3, 4, 1, 2. Go ahead and join me when you're ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So hopefully you were able to join me for part of that. So you can hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to show you right now why groups of 5 wouldn't work, and then why groups of 6 wouldn't work. And hopefully you'll be able to hear the difference. So here we go again. Now I'm going to try it in groups of 5, and you might recognize it kind of sounds off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. See how it naturally 4 just seems to fit better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And if I did 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just doesn't. There's something that just doesn't quite add up when you're doing groups of 5. Okay. Now I'm going to try it with groups of 6, and you're going to notice it's still going to sound a little weird. Here we go. Here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going back to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So if you think you want to practice that grouping of doing groups of 4, if you want to keep on practicing that, go ahead and rewind the video. You can do it as many times as you want to, okay? Just to really start feeling the group of 4. Now, in music, 4/4, like I said, especially in rock music, 4/4 is really, really, really popular, okay? There's also, if I were to play a song that were in 3/4, I think it would also help you hear the difference. So if I were to hear a song in 3/4, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It kind of has that feeling like you're swaying. Whereas 4/4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like you're marching. Okay. All right. So hopefully you learned a little something from that short little exercise. Go ahead and set your rhythm sticks aside. We're moving on to a fun little game to test your rock knowledge.
Welcome, fellow rock stars. Who's ready to play Who Wants to Be a rock star? Who wants to be a rock star? Test your knowledge on rock stars of the past and the present. Now, please welcome your host, Axel Daisy.
Hey, what's up, my fellow rock stars? I'm your host, Axel Daisy. Are you guys ready to play Who Wants to Be a Rock Star? Here's how the game works. I'm going to ask you 15 questions about rock stars. Each question, the stakes get a little bit higher, and the money that you can win doubles. We'll start off with the first question for $100.
All right, rock stars, are you ready to play Who Wants to Be a Rock Star? You'll get 30 seconds to answer each of these questions. Each time you get an answer right, you have the chance to win even more money. Question number 1 for $100. What genre of music did rock and roll have its roots in? Is it A, pop music, B, blues music, C, classical music, or D, reggae music? 30 seconds starting now. If you answered B, blues music, you are correct. Moving on to question number 2 for $200. This 1950s rocker was known as the King of Rock. Who is he? Is it A, Michael Jackson, B, Justin Bieber, C, Elvis Presley, or D, Bon Jovi? 30 seconds starting now. You answered C, Elvis Presley. You are correct. Moving on now to question number 3 for $300.
This famous rock group came from Britain in the 1960s and became one of the world's most famous bands. Is it A, the Beatles, B, the Kings of Leon, C, Led Zeppelin, or D, Metallica? 30 seconds, starting now. If you answered A, the Beatles, you're correct. Moving on now, upping the ante to $500. Question number 4. This man blew the crowd out of the water with his amazing version of the Star-Spangled Banner on the guitar at the Woodstock Festival in 1969. Is it A, Justin Bieber, B, Janis Joplin, C, David Bowie, or D, Jimi Hendrix? 30 seconds, starting now. If you answered D, Jimi Hendrix, you're correct. Now, big money, question 5 for $1,000. This rocker practically defined the genre of rock music in the 1950s. One of his most famous songs was Johnny B. Good. Is it A, Buddy Holly, B, Tina Turner, C, Elvis Presley, or D, Chuck Berry? You have 30 seconds, starting now. If you answered D, Chuck Berry, you guessed it, correct. Question number 6. Now we're up to $2,000. In the 1990s, this rock group became famous for fusing ska with rock. Think back to the story you heard at the beginning of the video. Is it A, Queen, B, No Doubt, C, Nirvana, or D, Pearl Jam? You have 30 seconds, starting now. If your guess was B, No Doubt, no doubt you are correct. Almost halfway there. Question number 7 for $4,000. This rocker sang the song Let's Dance and was known for his style. Is it A, Aerosmith, B, Slash, C, Elton John, or D, David Bowie? 30 seconds, starting now.
you guessed D, David Bowie, you're correct. Just a few more questions to go. How you doing? Are you keeping track of how much money you're winning? Question number 8 for $8,000. This group became famous in the 1960s for smashing their instruments. Is it A, The Who, B, The Rolling Stones, C, Creedence Clearwater Revival, or D, The Grateful Dead? You have 30 seconds starting now. If you guessed A, The Who, nicely done. You're correct. All right. Up to $16,000. Question number 9. This 1960s singer became famous during the Summer of Love for her gravelly voice. Was it A, Tina Turner, B, Joan Jett, C, Janis Joplin, or D, Stevie Nicks? You have 30 seconds. If you guessed C, Janis Joplin, nicely done. Moving on to question number 10 for $32,000. This duo became popular in the 2000s. One of their most famous songs is Seven Nation Army. Is it A, the Black Keys, B, the Ramones, C, Steely Dan, or D, the White Stripes? 30 seconds starting now. If you guessed D, the White Stripes, guess what? You are correct. Question 11 for 64,000 big ones. This rock star's hits include Living on a Prayer and You Give Love a Bad Name. Is this rock star A, Bon Jovi, B, David Bowie, C, Freddie Mercury, or D, Robert Plant? 30 seconds starting now. If you guessed A, Bon Jovi, that's right, you got it right. Nicely done. 4 more questions left. Question 12 for $125,000. This group made punk rock really, really famous. You may need to go back and listen to the story again. Is it A, Queen, B, AC/DC, C, the Ramones,
or B, Nirvana? You have 30 seconds starting now. If you guessed C, the Ramones, that's right, you got that one correct. 3 more questions left. Question 13. For $250,000, we're almost to $1 million. This group formed in the early 90s and were known for dressing like fellow rock star Buddy Holly. Is this group A, the Ramones, B, Weezer, C, Pearl Jam, or D, Nirvana? You have 30 seconds starting now. If you guessed B, Weezer, that's right, you're correct. The very last 2 questions for $500,000. Question 14. 80s rock and roll was known for the following: A, big screams and big hair, B, slower songs, C, using horns in the instrumentation of songs, or D, smashing their instruments. You have 30 seconds starting now. If you guessed A, big screams and big hair, you've won big. That's correct. How you doing so far? Last question for, you guessed it, $1 million. This artist ruled the 1980s rock scene with her amazing voice. Hits of hers include What's Love Got to Do with It and Proud Mary. Is it A, Taylor Swift, B, Tina Turner, C, Gwen Stefani, or D, Joan Jett? Think hard, you don't want to lose your $1 million. 30 seconds starting now. If you guessed B, Tina Turner, woohoo! Congratulations on winning Who Wants to Be a
rock star. You really are truly a rock
All right,
star.
my rock stars, that concludes today's music lesson. I hope you learned something new about the genre of rock music. And I want you to keep on rocking, whether that's playing an instrument, whether that's singing, whether that's doing music games online, all right? I will see you next week.